请给掌声给那两位菩萨，因为这次的 poster 是他们准备的。我自己是不会画画，所以很感谢他们。我这次的演讲，这个演讲是用英文，因为我自己是一个外国人，不太用中文不会表达。现在我已经可以显现出不会表达。Shall we start? This is the title of my talk today. And have you actually think about it and what do you think the answer would be? Have you thought of what the blanket really is? You don't have to answer me right now, but I will review the answer later. So what came up? Why I came up with this title is it actually have to bring it back a few months ago. I was at the retreat, 7 days retreat, sitting in the meditation for 3 days, indoor, and then at the end I was like, am I really using the method? Why am I not going anywhere with it? I felt like I'm trying to understand what Master Sheng Yang was telling us during the lecture, but I couldn't find the answer. So then finally on the 4th day, we finally get to go outside. So toward the evening, I walked outside and I sat down at the bench. And then looking at the sky, it's a pink sky. And then I saw a bunch of patches of clouds. And actually, all of a sudden, something came up in my mind. It was a quote from a very well-known sutra. Can you guys guess what that sutra is based on looking at this picture? Yes, that's correct. Diamond Sutra. And I'm really thankful to the sutra because the first time I read it, it inspired me so much that I made a vow that I wanted to become a monk. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. Let me give you a little background of what the sutra really about, and what did I really see at the beginning. The sutra, why is it called Diamond Sutra? The name is really a very good advertising. I was like, what is it? Is it some sort of valuable sutra that gonna give me wealthiness? It's nothing about that. Diamond Sutra is really, the word diamond represents wisdom. This wisdom is ultimate, and it can cut through all our vaccinations. Sorry. And then I read the first session, just the beginning part, and everyone knows is that it started with, "Thus I heard." And it just really simply describing the daily routine that Buddha and his disciples do. They beg for food. They go into the capital of Savasti city in India, and they beg for food, and then and I have to tell you, it's impressively, he has 1250 disciples, and my classmate tried, but obviously this is You can put it in imagination, there's a lot. And then they beg for food, and they don't go further than 7 places per monk. And then after the meal, after they beg for food, they will return to their center, and then they will sit in the order where they were in place, kind of like where we are now. And then they will be in a position ready to get to be in doing meditation. And when I first read about it, I really feel impressed. So I looked into it furthermore to understand who's Buddha. And I found out that he's a prince. And then I further look into it. Why is it a prince gave up everything he owned and he left home with his beautiful wife and then even the son? Why did he decide to do this? And why are there so many people followed him? And why are they begging for food when he was a prince? When people would just bring food to him, why did he have to go through all the trouble? That really inspired me, and then this main character here. Can you guess who that is? The Sakura Saputi. He asked Buddha a question about Bodhisattva's path. Whoever vowed to be a Bodhisattva, what kind of method can they use to calm their mind? And where should they live in their place? Where should they put their mind at? And Buddha simply, well, I shouldn't say simply. When I first read it, it was foreign language to me, and I couldn't understand a word, even though I can read every word on the sutra. During this talk, I looked further into the quote that came up in my mind. And let me just show you what that is. Thank you. This came up, it said, neither the past, the present, nor the future mind can be found. Looking at those patching clouds, it moving slowly across the sky, I was asking myself, is this it? Is this what inspired Buddha to left everything behind to go further in his life for the highest ultimate wisdom? Because he was under the tree looking at the shooting stars, and then all of a sudden he realized what is really nirvana. And I was looking at it, at the cloud, and asking myself that question. Then later I realized, hey, this is a retreat. I shouldn't be talking to myself. Then I realized that was not right. That was a deluded mind. After the retreat, I reread the sutra a few times. Every time I read it, it brought me to tears. And my classmates have witnessed that a few times, and at first they were wondering, are you okay? Is there something happened? And I couldn't really tell them why. But I think I know what it is that brought me to tears. But before that, I'll explain what I found out from this quote. What I understand is that why did Buddha said we couldn't find our mind in any of these time period? I'm going to use the example from Master Saint Yan. So he said that there's a string with a start, with the ending point is as a past, and then the other end is a future, and then at the middle we set it as a present. Then if we use a scissor and we cut it in the middle, now present is now gone. Since present is gone, what's left is the past and the future. But past is already past. There's nowhere to be found. And the future is not yet came. And how do you have that? And we are constantly moving forward as well. So the past became your present. So that's how I understand it, is that it's not something that you can really have. Your mind cannot be, it's not a thing. It's more an action that you should be put in your daily practice. And recently I realized that I've been doing things incorrectly because I'm not moving forward with what I do. So then I kept looking at this, and I think to myself, I should be using this more actively. When I feel like I want to give up, I need to remember what is my formal intention, and not beating myself up and say, oh, I should have done that. Oh, I should have did it more carefully. Instead of beating myself up, I'm using a positive way of thinking, of something that I can move myself forward. Instead of something you can aim at to grab, you can think about what action you can do. And my formal intention is a vow to help others to be on a Buddha Bodhisattva's path. And I'm constantly moving forward with that path by slowly learning to let go of things. When I not putting myself in a self-center, I am moving forward. And there's another example I want to give, is that when someone gives me a reaction of what I have done, now I learn that I can use that as inspiration and reflecting what exactly did I have done incorrectly. And I'm like a cook. I'm cooking a meal. If anything that I add into it, for example, if I add extra salt into my cooking, then it will become very salty. And that is the result, that a consequence that I'm getting. And one last thing I just remember, I forgot the whole time this talk is about cause and condition. And cause and consequences. Buddha explained to us that nothing stay still, and there's consequences combined with a different condition. Sorry. Thank you. Time's up. Thanks for